Today I want to ask a very simple question. Why are we always hating on each other? This video is spurned on because of something that I witnessed the other day. So I was waiting for my girlfriend at school. She was getting out of a class. And I'm just sitting outside on a bench and there's a couple like across the way like chatting with the guy. This guy's telling this couple that like he used to have some friends and then they were just, you know, completely bad people and they just messed up and everything and they really hurt him. And after he's done, I just hear the girl listening to him say, well, you know what? I know those people and they're not really holy people, so don't worry about it. First off, that's not a way to console someone who's having a problem. You shouldn't say, oh, well, the people who hurt you are bad people, so. But her particular words were what confused me, is she basically said, these people are not close to God, therefore they're evil people. First off, we know that's not always true. People who aren't necessarily close to God specifically can still be good people. But deeper, I have the question, like, how come she thought that the best response to this guy was, oh, well, I already know them, and so I'm judging their eternal souls? You literally did what Christ said, don't judge. And I talk about this so much, like, I understand the idea of judgment, like, we do need to tell the people, like, hey, you're doing something wrong, you need to be better. But when Christ said don't judge, it means don't judge someone's eternal soul, and that's exactly what that person did. Saying things like that person's going to hell or they're not close to God is so damaging because you're basically trying to interpret that person's religiosity. More importantly, you're trying to determine the state of that person's soul. You are playing a dangerous, dangerous game because you are creating yourself up to be God. Look, saying that somebody is an unholy person, okay, look, if everyone knows that they're unholy, that's fine, but you can't say, well, they're going to hell. That's a problem. Like a video I did a few weeks ago about homosexuality and attraction and sin. Someone made a comment about, hey, I'm an author and I have characters who are homosexual, but they're in the church. Like, what's up with that? Is that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I said what the church says. We don't know the state of anyone's soul. However, if someone is living in a state of sin, it does probably mean that their soul's in peril. But let's be real, so many of us are living in a state of sin. I mean, everyone is being tempted constantly to sin. The closer you get to God, the more the devil's gonna tempt you anyways. So by saying that someone is a bad person because they are not close to God, first off, you don't know that. You don't know the state of their soul. And second, why are you putting yourself in the place of God? And third, how come you get to say that without looking right back at your own self? It's like what Christ said, how can you look at the thorn in someone's eye when you have a log in your own eye? Or he who is without sin cast the first stone. And look, we should definitely tell people when they're wrong and try to instruct the ignorant. It is a work of mercy. But at the same time, I see so many Catholics judging other Catholics in a way that isn't meant to instruct, it isn't meant to assist, it's simply meant to gossip and judge. And I'm guilty of gossip as well. Gossip is a huge problem, but at the same time, there's a difference between gossiping and just like talking about someone or being like, he's a bad person, he's going to hell. And look, I don't know what they were talking about. That person that they were talking about could have been Hitler for all I know. But I said this like ages ago, back when Rise Up Jerusalem was a podcast. Like, we don't even know if Hitler is in hell. We can make a very good assumption that he most likely is, but we cannot say for sure that he is in hell. The only people we know for sure where they are after they have died are saints, because we know that they are in heaven. That's what saint means. It means they are holy. Sanctus in Latin means holy. We know that they are in heaven, that's why we call them saints. And the whole process for determining saints is based on the fact that we need to make sure that they are in heaven. So the only people we know about of closeness to God are those holy people. And there are some people on earth that you can say, yeah, I know that person's most likely super close to God. Like when I was in Rome and I met Cardinal Burke, like you could feel a pure radiance of holiness coming off of him, and it put me in absolute awe. But like when I was in Rome and saw JP2 when I was a kid, a year and a week before he died, like you can feel the power and radiance that only comes from holiness reflecting off him. And I've met some lay people like that too, and those are people that I'm pretty sure are in closeness with God, but I can't say that they are or are not definitively. In the same way, I cannot say whether someone is or is not super close to God. Granted, based on their actions, I can say that person may not be living a life of holiness, but that is completely different from saying they're unholy people who aren't close to God. And we need to stop this. We need to stop beating down our Catholic brothers and sisters. We need to stop saying, hey, that person's a bad person. Hey, you're a bad Catholic. Like, I got straight up attacked before because I didn't follow a certain blend of Catholicism. And I'll make that tomorrow's video. Tomorrow, let's talk about what does it mean to be Catholic when you fit a small segment of how you enjoy your Catholicism. And that's when I'm really gonna start ranting. You thought this was a rant? This is nothing close. So in conclusion, guys, please just don't judge each other. If you have to judge to instruct, totally fine. If you're judging just to say that person's evil and not close to God without even knowing their soul, because you cannot know their soul unless you're God, or like, the curative R's because God has been planting power in you to understand what people are saying in confession, in the holiness of their actions and the truth of their words, it is most certainly not your place to judge someone's eternal soul. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Make sure you tune in tomorrow's video. Let's talk about like brands of Catholicism and how Catholicism is attacking each other, especially in regards to liturgy, and probably like let's talk about adoration, like the different forms of adoration, because I feel like that's a really big issue. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and like on Facebook so you don't miss a single episode. Let's wrap this up. Remember, as it was in the beginning, as now, and ever shall be, rise up and live.